Last week I had an eye doctor's appointment on Tuesday and a dentist appointment on Thursday. And on Friday, I took my youngest to get x-rays on his foot because he hurt it at recess at school. And after a week of watching it and resting and hoping it would just get better on its own, I decided it was time to get x-rays just to be safe. $244, $376, $210, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And then our washing machine broke. My husband tried to fix it himself multiple times with parts ordered from Amazon. We called a repair guy because it was still under warranty. So Whirlpool sent out a repair guy and he couldn't fix it either. It would have cost over $700 to fix our washer. So we said no, negotiated a discount directly with Whirlpool, and bought a new, bigger washer for $400. It's going to be delivered soon. $1,230 in 1 week on nothing I would have chosen to spend my money on. And I want to show you exactly what I did, what I moved, what I changed, and the one thing that stopped the spiral before it took over the rest of the month. The free spreadsheet I used to do all of this is linked in the description below. I'll show you exactly how I used it in just a few minutes. I want to be real about something before I get into what I did. We don't have unlimited funds. We have a fixed income, and most months things are tight. When $1,200 hits in 1 week, it doesn't just show up as a number on a spreadsheet. It has to come from somewhere real. Something else has to give. No one is giving us $1,200. And even knowing that we had a plan, even knowing that we had a cushion, there's still this moment where the spiral starts. Tuesday at the eye doctor, $244. Contacts included for the year, which is actually a great deal. And I know that. I was mostly fine. Thursday after the dentist, $376, not covered in the way I thought, but still less than it has been. I was still mostly okay. But Friday, sitting in the waiting room while my youngest got his x-rays, thankfully not broken, just sore, I was doing the math in my head. How much would the x-rays even cost? What would it cost if his foot was broken? And just watching the number get bigger. And then I found out our washer was broken. $1,230 in 1 week on x-rays, teeth cleaning, contacts, and a washer that we cannot live without. No one talks about this part. It's not just stressful because of the money. It's also genuinely no fun to spend $1,230 this way. I would rather spend that on a trip, on really good dinner, on things that feel like living instead of just maintaining my life. That feeling is real, and it's okay to say out loud. But here's where most people make it worse, and I used to do this too. When unexpected expenses hit all at once, most people do one of two things. They either avoid looking, they don't open the bank account app, they don't check the spreadsheet, they just hope that it's going to work out, and then they find out 3 weeks later when the account is lower than they expected. Or they look at the total and start to spiral, doing the math in their head, running faster, numbers getting larger than the facts. And they start calculating worst case scenarios instead of actual facts. And the uncertainty takes over. That spiral doesn't run on facts, it runs on anxiety. So here's what I did instead. I opened the spreadsheet. Not because I wanted to, I didn't. Because I knew the math in my head was running on anxiety, not information. And the spreadsheet is where the information lives. So here's exactly what I saw and what I moved. I pulled up the budget tab and I looked at every category. Medical expenses. I had some money set aside, but not enough. But I had some. House repairs. Same story. I had a little, but not enough to cover the washer. So I moved money around from a few categories where I thought I might be able to pull some money, and I put it into the medical expenses and the house repairs fund to cover what we'd spent. It's not perfect. Some of those categories ended up being tighter than I'd like, but everything was accounted for. Nothing was floating around, nothing was overdrawn, nothing was a mystery. And here's what that did to the anxiety spiral. It quieted. Not because everything was fine. Some of it wasn't fine, but I could see exactly what was happening. And what was happening was that we were okay. Not perfect, not really where I wanted to be, but okay. The spreadsheet didn't fix the problem. It stopped the uncertainty. And stopping the uncertainty stopped the anxiety spiral. The free spreadsheet that made it possible is in the description. You can get it for free. Click on the link and fill in your email, and the spreadsheet will come straight to your inbox. It's the same spreadsheet I've used for almost 20 years, and it is exactly what I opened on Friday afternoon to stop the spiral. But that's only half the story, because seeing where things stood made me face something that I'd been avoiding. I was not saving enough for medical expenses and house repairs. I have categories for both in my budget, and I carry money forward to cover things like this. But I was not setting aside enough money to absorb things like this without feeling it in other areas of our budget. So here's the honest truth. This wasn't a surprise. I knew I needed to go to the eye doctor, I knew I needed to go to the dentist, and even my son's x-rays weren't a surprise. He's a kid, and that's just parenting. The washing machine wasn't a surprise because appliances break. That's just what happens. I just wasn't setting aside enough money each month to cover things like this when they all happen in the same week. That's on me. Not in a punishing way, just honestly. I knew better and I wasn't doing it. And this past week was a reminder. So here's what I'm changing starting this month. I went back and looked at what we'd actually spent on medical expenses and home repairs over the last 2 years. Not what I thought we spent, what we actually spent. And then I divided that by 12. That's the number that I need to be carrying forward, saving each month. Not a guess, not an optimistic estimate that nothing's going to break, but an actual number of our real life costs in those categories. For me, I had to stop ignoring the fact that I wasn't saving enough. So starting this month, I'm increasing both budget line items. Some other things will be a little tighter in order to make room for it, but that's the trade-off. And next time a week like this hits, and there will be a next time, I want to feel less anxiety. That's how this system works. It's not perfect and it's not without gaps, but you find out where the gaps are and then you can fix them, you can close them. My son's foot is fine. It's not broken, just sore and swollen and a little bruised. The new washer gets delivered later this week and it's bigger than our old one, and I'm unreasonably excited about that. Contacts are ordered and the dentist is done for another 6 months. And starting this month, my budget actually reflects my life, not what I hoped it would cost. And that's the whole point. The system doesn't protect you from the hard weeks, from the $1,230 of expenses. It protects you from the spiral that makes the hard weeks harder. If you want the spreadsheet that helped me see clearly in the middle of all of it, you can download it by clicking the link below in the description. Fill in your email address and the spreadsheet will come right to your inbox. And if you want to see how I set up my budget categories to make this all possible, including how I figure out the right number to put in the spreadsheet for irregular expenses, watch this video next and be sure to subscribe.